Hello traders, how you doing? Hopefully this video finds you in good trading. This is going to be a video on the new version of the battle station, just a casual kind of what's new video, how it differs from the old one, kind of what to expect there, just a bit of a nice little segue for you from the old version to the new version. So I've got some notes here, probably read through them. So the first note here is a completely rebuilt engine. So I did redesign it from scratch. All the code is basically rebuilt from scratch, but it will still have the same functionality on the front end as what you're used to with the old version, just plus all these extras. So it still works the same. It's not going to be a completely, whole new tool that you have to relearn. It's going to give you the same result. Just the gears under the hood are just designed a little bit differently. I'm the type of guy that can't sleep very well at night if I know I've got bad code out there. And it's not that the old version had bad code, it's just that it could have been better, and I did make it better. And it will just allow me to expand on things in the future, debug things easily, and add these other cool new features in that we're going to talk about in a minute. So um, under the hood it works differently, but that won't really affect you too much. But that's why it's taken me like 3 months to bring out the new version here. And while I was rebuilding the battle station, what a good opportunity to go through the flaws that have really surfaced with the older versions, try and address them, make the tool better, and give everyone a better experience. So the first thing that I've added, which most of you guys know was coming anyway, is the trend filter algorithm. And this really stems from an issue with the other versions of the older versions of the battle station, where you would actually get counter trend signals which really have no business being there. We don't really want to know about them at all, and we really want to get rid of those. But writing a trend filter, if anyone's ever had any experience with quantitative stuff or programming or anything like that, it's very, very difficult to tell a computer what a trending market is. And you'll see sometimes when you try to create trend filters that the market, it sometimes just triggers them in. As you might have a ranging market. Say you have a wildly swinging ranging market like so, it will think that the tops of these ranges and the bottoms here is a trend kicking into gear, and it will actually start to produce trend signals at the peaks here. This is a problem with writing out a trend algorithmically. It's like is what parameters you're using, what techniques. So the trend filter inside the battle station, it's got like a mesh of about 4 different metrics that are being looked at once and kind of compiled together, and trying to filter out sideways markets and counter trend signals. So that's the new feature. It does take a little bit more processing power though, so you may notice the battle station maybe a little bit slower on load. Like if you're like me and you have like 30 charts open, so when MT4 opens and it tries to lose the battle station on 30 charts with the trend filter on, it's probably going to take a couple of seconds just to get going, but once it gets going, it's fine. So the trend filter. So what I've done is actually um, customized it a little bit, or tweaked it for the different time frames. So the trend filter is going to be looking for different things on the daily chart than it is on the 4 hour. Obviously, the 4 hour it's kind of looking at a bit more of a broader spectrum, whereas on the daily chart, you can see that you'll find that it actually looks in a more narrow space. Let me look for the Euro US dollar here. This has been a nice trending market here. So, for example, when you have the trend filter on, damn thing. Its goal basically is, like I said, it's trying to find obvious trending conditions. So when the market trends, there is no doubt that the battle station will detect that the market has gone into a full uptrend or a full downtrend. It's just the sideways kind of, channeling, swinging high, low kind of sideways markets that confuse it a little bit. But when it gets into these nice uptrends, it's definitely going to know about it, and it will filter out all the counter trend signals that do form. You can see here that we really don't have any sell signals marked here. Only the buy signals are coming through here. Only back here where the market went sort of sideways, and it, maybe that's off a lower high or something, and it thought that the market's transitioning into a downtrend. And you can see here when the market goes sideways here, we're still getting some sell signals off resistance. I mean, but if you block the page or block that like from here onwards off, and we kind of look at it from here, right now, that kind of does look like the market is trying to transition into a bearish market. So the algorithm is doing its job, and it does actually get rid of a lot of noisy signals as well. So also, to actually use this to the advantage of finding a bullish or bearish trend, we can actually now identify what's obviously sideways conditions or basically consolidating markets. So you can see here that we've got consolidating markets, then another filter comes in, the consolidation filter, and it does things as well to make candles meet certain criteria to actually be flagged in consolidation. For example, we don't have any dojis or inside candles showing up in the consolidation anymore because we do not want to know about those inside consolidation. Usually only in trending environments. As you can see here, we've got an inside day here inside this trending environment coming through. Is the new trend algorithm filters out a lot of inside candles here on the daily chart especially. So that's really the trend filter in a nutshell. It's a set and forget kind of thing. I should really talk about the input options. So I rearranged the input options quite a bit. So you should note that all this is kind of not changed but rearranged, and a few different options have been put in here. You need to put your username and password in here as well. Obviously the warnings there, don't share the tool around, it's for you only. You're welcome obviously to use it on as many computers or accounts that belong to you, but don't hand it out to other people. So I've simplified the input options to more consistent categories. So before it was starting to get a little bit scattered there, it was starting to be a little annoying to find certain options. So I just put them all in big groups. So here we have the chart drawing options, and you can see here we've got all the options for chart drawing. The signal notification options here, when can we send the signals? It's got a sleep timer, so if you don't want signals when you go to bed, you can set the hours, and that's all off your local time as well, so it's easy to do. Should we notify you about certain reversal candles or breakouts or whatever candle pattern you want? This tool is fully customizable, so if you need it to do something, you can tweak the options to make it do what you want. The filter section has been kind of reworked a little bit. I've just made it much more simpler. So with the chart technical filter, before I had all sorts of logic options, but now if you just turn it on, it will actually work off just what you've got on the chart, any support or resistance levels or anything like that. It just works off that. I'll talk about that a little bit further on in the video, so we're not jumping all around the place. But yeah, here's the trend filter. You can turn it on and off if you want. There's the old swing high low filter, the candle range filter. You're free to turn those on and off. There's a new moving average filter put in here as well by request, so that's in there, but its default is off because I don't think it really combos well with the trend filter. So you'd probably either want to use the trend filter, which is here. Sorry, you'd either want to use this or more so I should say that you should want to turn the trend filter off if you're going to use the moving average filter. It just doesn't make sense to have both of them on. It's probably too much filtering. So you can go through the options here, and I'll probably start working on a more in-depth tutorial. If you scroll down to the bottom, we have the advanced candle options where you can get really granular with what you want to be notified about. And we also have the passive time frame scanning as well. So if you load it on whatever current time frame you have, you can also scan the 4-hour and 1-hour chart as well. And you can configure what messages bubble up through there as well. So most of this is the same from the previous versions, just the input options have just been simplified there. I suggest you go through here, set things up the way you want, and you should save a input template so that you don't have to keep doing this every time you want to set a battle station up on the chart. So yeah, that's the trend filter. Let's just scroll through a little bit. So you can see it's working quite well. We're only getting buy signals here, okay, and then the market starts to point downwards, and we're starting to get sell signals kick in here. The only kind of drawback with the trend filter is I did try, but it's very hard to actually quantify what a mean reversion setup actually should, like what conditions it should fall under. So counter trend signals probably aren't going to be flagged with the trend filter, unfortunately, at this stage, until I can think of a way to actually pick them up and let them pass through the trend filter. If you have the trend filter on, basically counter trend trading signals, you're probably not going to get them unless the market peaks up at the top of a trend and then sort of flattens out and it starts to go into more of a consolidating condition. Then you will start to get more counter trend signals come in. But otherwise, yeah, that's the trend filter. If we go to the 4-hour chart, all right, and you still must remember that what the battle station is a charting assistant. Okay, it's a candlestick algorithm detection tool which notifies you of things of interest that it will send alerts to your phone, to your MT4, to your email, and your job is to come to the chart and evaluate, do the final evaluation at least, to see if the trade's worthy or not, because a computer program can only do so much processing. And yeah, so the 4-hour chart here, we can see that we had a couple of little buy signals come through here in a bullish environment, and you can see when the market's in that bullish environment there, we're not getting any sell signals at all, which is really good. And really, that's the main perk of the trend filter. It just really gets rid of those obviously annoying signals. We had a buy signal here, but you can see that formed at the top of the move. But again, if you push the chart all the way to the end here, you can see that at that current time, the battle station would have thought that this is a nice uptrending environment. Everything's not going to work out. That's the deal with Forex. Like I said, it's going to send you the alerts, all right, and you got to come to the chart and make the decision whether the trade is good to go or not. But the whole point of the filtering is just to not disturb you with annoying signals that before you would get signals all day every day on your phone, you'd have to come and check all the time. We just want more quality signals, but you still have to come to the chart and make the final decision. But I'm very pleased. So let's go on the actual 1-hour chart here, see how it's working. You can see here we had a bit of a mean reversion signal filter through there. So yeah, here we can't see any sell signals, so there was a bullish signal that got through here. So I mean, you can have fun with it and have a look and see how it goes. Give me some feedback, obviously see how it works for you. And that basically is the trend filter. And I've added monthly level breakout alerts. So one of the issues with the other battle station is it's meant to send you alerts when the market breaks the previous weekly high. So if I press W, you can see now we can get the previous weekly high, the previous monthly high, and lows there. So when a candle actually closes above those monthly or the previous monthly high or the weekly high, it's meant to send you an alert. All right, so it does that now. And hopefully that's working all good. From what I've seen, it seems to be doing okay. So you can toggle that with W, and you can turn it off in the options as well if you don't want to be notified about that. Just simply go to Signal Notification Options, okay, and it'll be all here. So notify weekly breakouts. Hey, what happened here? Okay, so yeah, notify weekly breakouts. Notify monthly breakouts as well, so you can turn them off. They're on by default. What else do we have? Okay, here's a new feature. I added horizontal level breakout markers, and that's actually stacks on with another feature that it will actually notify you when the market breaks support and resistance levels that you have marked on the chart. Obviously, you can turn those off as well if you want. So let's say we had a level marked here. We've got these little arrows that pop up now when a candle actually breaks through your resistance or support levels that you've marked, and it will send you a notification as well. So you'll get a notification saying, all right, a bullish breakout candle just broke through your horizontal level on the Euro US dollar daily. You might want to come and check that. Depending on your strategy or whatever you're doing or looking at, that might be relevant to you. Okay, so you got the new drawer markers there, just little arrows. If we, let's say, put one down here, we can see that this was the candle that broke through, and we're focusing on the close as well. So if we look back, none of these candles actually got marked because we're looking at if the candle actually broke through and closed through the level. So that's a new feature. So you can turn the drawing off and you can turn the notification on and off if you want to. All right. So let's have a look at the new moving average filter. All right. So whoops, let's turn um, the trend filter off because we don't want to have two big filters on. So quality control filters, we'll turn the trend filter off. Let's just see what happens when we do that. Okay, you can see a lot more signals coming through here. Okay, you can see, we go back to those trending conditions, you can see that was flagged as a reversal candle. You know, we've got stuff coming in here. We've got bearish candles coming in here and here. Okay, they all got filtered out before. This one got filtered out. Okay, that's the advantage of having the trend filter on. It just gets rid of these counter trend signals that, you know, even for the newer trader might be tempted to take those. So we just take them off the table completely and we focus on trading with the trend when obviously there is a trending condition. We can also press M if we want to remove the mean value. That is actually part of the old battle station as well, though. Nothing new there. So what we'll do, let's go to the filter. So if we turn the moving average filter on, this is just a simple moving average. You can set the value here. It's set to 30 by default there. So you can change what simple moving average value you're using. You can put whatever you want in here, 200, 10. Okay, it will take anything. And we turn that on. All right. And what I'll do is we'll actually add the 30 moving average here so we can visually see what's going on. So that's on simple. All right. So again, we're looking at the close. So anything on the bullish side of the moving average will be allowed to pass as a bullish signal. So no bearish signals are allowed on the bullish side of the EMA. Simple moving average. But once we get on the bearish side, then we allow the sell signals to come in. So you will not see any bullish signals on the bearish side. So that is just a very simple filter, but can be quite powerful if you need to use it like that. You can see here we probably had a little sell signal just come in, and that's because it actually did close on the bearish side of the moving average. It's quite a simple filter. There's no complex algorithm behind it at this stage. It's just if you're on the bullish side, we can allow for bullish signals to come through. If you're on the bearish side, we allow the bearish signals to come through, okay? You got to remember too that, the filters will actually stack, okay? So whatever you have turned on here, if whatever's on, they all need to pass to meet your, to basically let the signal come through. So let's turn off the moving average filter. Now let's have a look at the technical filter. So if we turn the technical filter on, this is a very interesting one. I'm not sure how many people actually use it, but what it does is it only allows signals to come through to the chart for you to be notified about. Only the signals that react with your horizontal levels, your trend lines, and your box or your consolidation shapes. So we'll demonstrate that now. So I'm going to get rid of that moving average, clean the chart up a bit. So I've got the technical filter on now. So the chart has no technical analysis on it, basically, no technical drawing tools, no trend lines, no horizontal levels. So nothing is coming through here. But if we have, say, a level probably through here, as soon as we do that, we have a signal pop up because that's what the technical filter does. It allows signals that react with your technical analysis to come through. We can see we've got one here as well. All right. And the notifications that get sent out to you are very detailed. They will tell you that there is a signal reacting with your level. Let's draw a trend line through there and see what happens. That yellow box is the trend line breakout. There we go. So this bullish signal reacted with the trend line. Great. Let's try and find a bearish example. Okay, there's a bearish example. We draw a bearish sloped trend line and we get a bearish reversal candle on there. It allows it to be filtered through. Okay, so this is just for those who only want to be notified when something happens on the way they've set the chart up technically. So they might be watching a level. Maybe you're up here, you're watching a level. This might be a big weekly level or something like that. and you want to watch for any sell signals that might come off that level. You just put the chart filter on, and we only be notified if a signal does manifest off that level there. So that's the whole point of the technical filter there. All right, let's have a look what else I have on my notes here. So yeah, the technical filter, I just explained that. Before it was a little bit more complicated. It had and or logic and stuff like that, but I just made it simple and just, whatever it reacts with on your chart. Um, so we talked about fixing an issue with the weekly breakout alerts being fixed. I did fix an issue with previous versions of the battle station. The candle markers through here actually desynchronized from the candles, and they'd appear all over the chart like that. That usually happened when the candles were still loading after the battle station had finished basically loading on the chart. More candles were coming in on top of it, and it would desynchronize everything. So I wrote a lot of code to fix that for you, so it should work. We've added a warning about too many foreign objects on the chart. So basically, the battle station uses these. You know from the previous versions, if you want to mark out consolidation, you can with the box tool, or you can mark it out with the triangle tool, and it will draw a yellow box around there on the breakout candle. So the candle that actually clearly breaks that consolidation structure you highlighted, it will draw that. But that means the battle station needs to be able to read these kind of shapes off the chart. So if you add another graphical indicator that goes ahead and draws like hundreds of these boxes on the charts, when you put the battle station on, it's going to think that you drew them all, and it's going to want to scan all of those and do a lot of processing, and it can actually freeze your MT4 and hold it up, and it'll look like everything's just locked up where it's just got a million trillion gazillion calculations to do before it can actually load properly. So I put a warning on there now so that if we do a pre-scan, and if it detects too many objects on the chart that don't belong to the battle station, then it will give you a warning and say, hey, you can't mix and match the battle station with graphical indicators that draw stuff all over the chart. It just makes things confusing. You can actually load the battle station. Sorry, I should put a caveat there. Yeah, you can actually load the battle station with other indicators that draw stuff, but we need to go down to performance options, and we got this option here called the battle station run mode. So normal operation, everything works the way it should, but if we put it in safe mode, it will actually ignore all objects on the chart. But the problem with that is that you won't get the breakout notifications outside of your consolidation structures there, so it'll ignore them all. So that will avoid crashes if the battle station detects that there's a lot of well, if you've got an indicator that draws a lot of stuff, safe mode will just ignore everything on the chart and just look for it do its thing apart from looking for the breakout candles. So that's there if you need it. This chart overload trigger here, the object overload trigger, this is how many foreign objects it will allow before it spits that error message out. So if you find that your indicator that you're using it's drawing stuff all over the chart and it works okay with the battle station, you can increase this number if you need to. But if you do notice that the chart does freeze when you load the battle station, you probably have to put it into safe mode or use it on a separate chart. All right, so what else have we got? Okay, so someone complained about Sunday candles. They didn't want to get alerts about Sunday candles for those who aren't using the New York close time feeds. I don't have anything to test that on at this stage, but I did try to I do my best to write code that will actually ignore Sunday candles, and it seems to work okay from what I can tell. So if it finds a Sunday candle, it just sort of skips over it. And we've rearranged the options to be simpler, more consistent there. So that's basically the big highlights for the new version. And really the actual big fish of this update is the trend filter. What am I doing here? I'm going to get rid of all these objects. Delete. Let's have a look at some other markets here. Okay, so so because all this has been changed here, the input options, when you load the battle station onto your chart, you probably want to just hit this reset button to reset everything back to default, because I have found in the past that when I do rearrange these inputs, if the old version has a different layout to the new version, what happens is the MT4 thinks it's loading all this from the old version, and there's a mismatch of input options, and things can get really screwed up. So when you load the battle station, just hit that reset button. Remember to go through your options, change what you need to, set it the way you want. And what you want to do is actually come down here and hit save, and save your template, or maybe you want to save a few templates. Then when you load the battle station again on other charts, you can actually load it if you want, or you can save it and then you can go to the chart, set it up the way you want. Did I reset that? So reset, okay, close. Okay, so if you, let's say I put the battle station on the chart here, basically I've set it up the way I want. I can actually go right here, right click on the chart here and go to template, save template, and then we can actually make our own template here, and that actually saves your whole chart environment and all the indicators and everything that you have on the chart at the time and their settings. So that's another quick way to do it. All right, but you can see here that like the first thing you'll notice when you put the battle station on is a lot less signals coming through. Okay, there's a lot more quality versus quantity, and you will notice that especially during the trending conditions. I've done my best to filter out as much noise from the consolidating conditions, but we still want to know about signals that do form in ranges and things like that. So you can see here we had sideways conditions here, and nothing really is coming through them. It's really holding back. It's not letting anything through. It's saying that these are not ideal conditions, or the signal didn't the signal that formed in these conditions isn't really strong. So maybe you'd call that a pin bar or something like that. But the consolidation filters really push that aside because it's too low quality for that low quality environment. Okay, so yeah, all right. So hopefully the new version brings a lot of benefit to you in your trading. I'm excited to use it because it's a completely whole rebuilt new engine. There may be some bugs. I've been testing it for quite a while and kind of actually thrashed it quite a bit, try and make it break. And I have made only a few errors occur today, and nothing really else after that. And I've done my best to patch all those up. So I really abused it today, and it hasn't broken yet. So hopefully it won't break for you. Hopefully it's okay now. But if you do actually find any problems with it, then just email me. Make sure you go to the expert tabs down here, and you'll see like an error message down here. So take a screenshot of that. They'll all form in the experts area. So if you find the battle station stops working or something, always come to the experts tab and see what error message came up here. Most of the time people can't get the battle station to work because they didn't put their username and password in. All right, so you need to go in here. You need to make sure your username and password is in here. It's best to probably save a template with your username and password in, or a set file or an actual template like I showed you before. So you go to template here, save. That way you don't have to keep putting it in. And yeah, so that's the version 2.5. Like I said, this is just a casual video of me kind of explaining what's up, just give you guys a bit of a heads up. To update this, you just need to overwrite the old file, but I actually did rename it to just Battle Station. So it will be a different file. So you can delete your old one. Actually, that's probably a better thing to do, is delete your old one first and then install this one. And let me know how you go. Okay, I'll probably open a thread on this in the forum so we can talk about it. If you got any questions, go to the thread so everyone can see your question. Maybe they have the same issue as well, and we can get some discussion going there and some feedback and stuff like that as well. All right, so all right guys, I'll see you in the thread. Hope you enjoy it.